What's up, people? Homegrown Big coming at you from my backyard here, which is pretty much a jungle like the front food forest, but the difference is here, this is I have a couple of fig trees back here, but this is all non-food, and this is largely local regional flora. So we have lots of vine maples and evergreens and cedars and sword ferns, and then we have a... Oh no. Okay, that was bad. We also have some more landscaping type species back here, like dogwoods, and then I've got some camellias, which are fall flowering. And a big reason why we have it set up like this, or I've designed it like this, is to help local insects, especially our local bees here, which are, some of them are nearing extinction. And the most important thing that you can do as a homeowner, as somebody who wants to help with these sort of issues of extinction and loss of habitat, is to recreate that habitat. So even if you're in an apartment, you can have potted things that are regional flora to help give feed and fodder for these local species. And since I have sort of been making a mix of regional flora mixed in with some later flowering species that are more decorative and more ornamental, what's happened is we've seen a really huge increase in all kinds of species here, including hummingbirds, bees, insects, and so on. So making sure that you have, for people who are homeowners or for house renters, having lots of dirt piles instead of lawn only is super important, because that's how regional bees actually nest. They're not hive nesters, they're ground nesters, and that's part of the problem, is that they're losing a lot of their available habitat area to lawn, to blacktop, to parking lots, etc. So this is the back. And what I wanted to do is, I've had a lot of requests to do what I eat in a day as permaculture, and this will be also what I eat in a day as a recovering vegan. Some of you will know my story. I really wanted to try to set up a permaculture food forest and live entirely off of that. I was an ardent vegan advocate for a very long time, only to find out that it long-term really impacted my health in a negative way. So this is where we're at now. Let's talk about this. I started my day with some local apples. I do not grow apples here on the west side of the Cascade Mountains. It's a little damp and we have a lot of problem with pathogens, but I do buy apples from just over the mountains here on the eastern side, where it's a bit drier. So I started off with a couple of apples, and then I moved on to some fruit that I've been growing. Okay, every day I come out here in the food forest and I eat fruit. Right now I have, well, I would say during the growing season, I have huckleberries coming in, and these are actually starting to get quite big and juicy this year. It's pretty nice. You can see these right here. Huckleberries are just super packed with nutrients, and they are regional, so the various wildlife here enjoy them as well. And I can't wait till these get a little bit bigger, full-sized shrubs, and we're gonna get some really great harvest. Good for making pemmican, good for making preserves, jams, good for putting into meads or home ferments. I just really am excited to see these doing so well. You can just see this plant is pretty loaded, and it's only a 3-year-old plant, so we're going to be getting some really great harvests. And I put this one up against the house, and it gets a lot of microclimate heat, which is something these huckleberries really enjoy, and you can tell these are quite good size. Well, end of the season for blueberries, but these later harvest blueberries, I have a few different varieties. I have them spanned out between the season, early bloomers or producers, mid, and then late. And these ones that are late have such an amazing flavor. Just a little video interlude here. This is a fuchsia flower. These go great in shady areas, which is really a nice way to make use of sort of the underutilized areas in your food forest or landscaping. Hummingbirds love these, insects love these, and these tend to flower later in the season when other stuff's dying out. So I'm excited to get more of these in here. Gosh, they're just beautiful.
What's up, Squanick?
I cut back this tree and left it for a perch for the cats. They absolutely love it. Alright, so here we are with some of my next food of the day, which I ate a couple of Asian pears that I grew. And I'm just gonna harvest maybe one of these now, a couple, and let them sit overnight for tomorrow. And they'll sweeten up a little bit more once you pick them. And this is kind of what I like to do. I found if I harvest too much at once, they kind of over-ripen and their quality of them goes down, so it's better to just graze them and eat a little bit at once. Figure in my head.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Hello.
Beautiful.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I gotta make some fresh slaw tonight with the stuff we've harvested. Got a little apple in there, several colored carrots, cabbage. Nice. What else we got going on in the kitchen? Here's a couple more cabbages I harvested today. Those will go in the fridge. They'll keep for a long time. Big pot of garden veg stewing up in a homemade chicken broth. There's squash, beans, greens. Really nice. And we got a bunch of eggplants harvested going in the fridge. Probably grill up some of those this week, maybe do a McCurry. Try to avoid the plastic. I just put them in like a cardboard tote and then put a nice towel over them. They actually keep a long time that way because they don't get wet and slimy like plastic makes them. Got some pork shoulder smoking. It's been in here for a couple of hours. I'll just transfer it into the oven at some point. There's only so much smoke that it can absorb and get that flavor, so I'll just transfer it inside. We're about to get some rain. I've been smoking some green tomatoes. I'm gonna make like a smoked tomatillo type sauce with them. Here I've got peppers and onions. These are all grown here. You can see different types of hot peppers. So I'm going to make like a nice cooked green tomato salsa with them. It's going to be really yummy. Some folks have asked what I use to flavor things, so I really like using a mixture of the Traeger beef rub and Rub with Love salmon rub. A little bit of each, and that makes a really nice flavor. So a lot of people say things like, you saw what I did with the steak there, and a lot of plant-based people or vegan people say like, hey, you can only eat meat. Meat doesn't taste good by itself, and that indicates our human palate. And you know, meat only tastes good when you add lots of salt to it, or you add plant things to make it taste good. And this is something that I find super laughable, and probably some of the most inane rhetoric floating around. And to that I question back, well, if that's the case, then why do you flavor your plants with more flavors? Why do you put seasoning like herbs on your plants? Why do you add fats to your plants? Why do you add nut plants fats to your plants? Why do you add curries and hot peppers and things like this? You do the same thing. If plants were so amazing and so perfect unto themselves, you would only eat them by themselves in their pure raw state, right? Individually, you wouldn't need to mix flavors. You would just enjoy it for what it is. It would be perfect as it is. And I don't know too many people who do that. I've heard of a few raw vegans who've tried, and fruitarians who've tried, but they normally end up mixing flavors in smoothies. They normally end up backsliding into spices and herbs, such as using hot peppers and ginger and this and that. So you can throw that out the window. One of the greatest accomplishments of the human species, in my opinion, is and are the culinary arts. We're absolutely sophisticated in our sense of food chemistry and our palates, and we make some of the most amazing, mind-boggling, delicious creations. And I, for one, would be absolutely destroyed and heartbroken if the culinary arts did not exist in our species. It's one of our highest achievements.